All right, haves and have not fans. Pink Unicorns, last night's episode, season 9, episode 5. Special episode because of the fact that for the first time, and I cannot recall when, my mom and I watched the episode live together. You know, we both were in the living room watching it. We were both debating whether or not we would even be awake because we had both had long days. I don't know how, but I was running on 4 hours sleep yesterday. And, she had gotten off of work maybe 3 hours before the episode aired. But we opted just to watch. And it wasn't bad per se. I think that I even tweeted it out that it's a shame that even this halfway decent episode can be considered good. Mainly because we didn't waste 20-something minutes on the Jeffrey, Madison, and Tanner stuff. If I were to say what this episode could be summed up as, I would say lost potential or untapped potential, because I felt like one of the running themes of the episode was when you thought something big was going to happen or a major bomb was going to be dropped, it just decided to focus on something else. Obviously, to me personally, the best scenes were Vinny interacting with Mitch and Sandy. And then, of course, Veronica going to that gay bar, gay club. Those were honestly the best scenes of the episode. So, I would probably give this episode kind of like a 6 out of 10. Because it definitely seemed more like a setup. Oh, sorry about the chair. A setup episode for future events. But we only got 3 episodes left. Just remember that. Okay, Pink Unicorns. So before going further in the episode, make sure you give this video a like, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Not going to be traditionally done in my typical, I'm going to review things scene by scene. This is kind of going to be all over the place like the episode, because my notes don't even equal half a page, because this did suffer from repetitive dialogue. Alright, so the first scene is, for everybody who called it, you were right. Jim was lying about Celine murdering Amanda. He would be willing to frame Celine for murdering his dead daughter, so long as it gets her off of his ass in regards to the $50,000 emergency funding for child support to pay rent and whatnot. So with that being said, Jim just says, screw you. He accepts the documents that he was served, and that's essentially the first scene. So a lot of build up on a epic cliffhanger last week about Celine killing Amanda, and yet it went nowhere. I mean, he did mention the DA telling him how it wasn't a suicide, and remember, Jennifer initially told that to David, and then George told that to the crier. So that's literally it. Yeah. Alright, so from there, we get Marco and Akil, who go from enemies to frenemies because of their assassin backgrounds. And Marco was in the French Navy, and I believe Akil was in the Marines. So the thing about this was, they get to a parking garage. And let me just say up front, this was honestly, in my opinion, one of the best choreographed fight scenes in any of these Tyler Perry shows I've seen. I mean, it's funny to see a pretty decent fight like this compared to last week when Jacoby punched Calvin on Sisters and that scene went viral. This was actually a pretty good fight, but at the same time, I was looking at my watch, figuratively, of course, saying, how long is this going to go on? So they park in the parking garage. Marco says, get out of the car. He has the gun pointed on Akil. Okay, turn around, I'll shoot you. And when he turns around halfway, he knocks the gun out of his hand. They have that fight. And then it gets to the point where there's like a stalemate, and we go to like 8 different scenes, and then 30 minutes later we come back, and I'm like, how long have they been standing like that? But in any case, they come to an agreement because Marco is desperate, not only for this money, but also the fact that Veronica has threatened to have him deported if she doesn't have results from his mission. And Akil's like, you're only $15K, I'm making like 30. Here's what we can do. You can tell her you killed me. Get your money. And then I'll kill her and then I'll get my money. And it's a win-win. Because after mentioning their armed forces background, there's that respect, but at the same time, it's like, yo, why are we trying to kill each other when we can just play our money handlers? So the thing that got me is, okay, let's go over there now. I was like, okay, here's what I thought was going to happen. Like, when Akil's like, okay, I want to get my keys. Okay, so when Akil goes to get the keys and then gets the gun, I'm like, oh, what? Because if I'm not mistaken, in the car, and I could be wrong about this, but I think that when it gets in the car, he hands the gun to Marco. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, I know what's going to happen. They're going to get in the car. Marco thinks they're good, and we're not going to see him get shot. But from the back window of the car, we'll see a bang go off. So it's possible, like, oh, so Akil got in the car and shot Marco, and that was it. No. Or maybe the gun would have went off, and it would have been ambiguous as to who got shot. That way, it's like, okay, which assassin got killed, because that's important. Because if Akil shot Marco, that means Akil will still go after Veronica. So it's a question of, oh damn, so is Veronica safe or is she not? If Marco shot Akil, well, that's really no mystery, because if Marco shot Akil, that means that Veronica's safe from Jim's end, but that doesn't mean she's safe from the hood. So that's why I thought the episode was going. But no, it looks like these two are going to work together, and Akil's going to have Veronica killed, and that's going to be about it. But then maybe he'll kill Laura instead. I don't know. It wasn't, like I said, it was a good fight, but the conclusion kind of had me going, what kind of sense does that make? Okay. Alright, so Broderick gets busted over at the loft by Hannah when he finds the two women in the bed, who one of them I recognize as the same woman who came over there last week asking Wyatt for drugs, and then she brought up the name Heather. So I'm going to assume both of these women are people that Wyatt knows. So Hannah tells the women to go. She introduces herself as, somebody who works for Catherine. Broderick half-ass explains how they take care of each other, and then he even tries to flirt with Hannah in order to not get her to tell Catherine about the women over there with him. And later in the episode, she calls Catherine, or Catherine calls her, and while she's like, so how is Broderick? Yeah, he has some women over there, or what? So ironically enough, she wants a three-way on the phone, wink wink, and Hannah just stays on there without anybody knowing. So Broderick is busted, and he tries to make it like Hannah's a liar. So then when there's only a minute left, and it's like, wait, who else is on the phone? How did you call? The liar did it. And then Wyatt can be overheard speaking. And wait, Wyatt's there? And then he hangs up the phone. And then Catherine's like, wait, Wyatt was over there? And that was one of my biggest questions. I'm like, where the hell was Wyatt? I mean, as soon as Hannah went over to the loft earlier in the episode, I was like, wait, where's Wyatt? Is Wyatt there or not? Well, what's going on here? So Catherine asked if she can get up and go over there. Like, look, I owe you so much. I'm thinking to myself, I'm glad that Hannah said what she said about Broderick, because Catherine was like, please go over there with the sheriff and him out. But he's like, hey, if I don't do it tonight, I will do it in the morning. I'm like, yeah, Hannah was on the couch chilling out, about to go to sleep. I wouldn't have done nothing myself. But in any case, Hannah gets up because the Wyatt thing was such a big deal. And kind of jumping towards the end of the episode, Wyatt, is acting like an ass. He's doing coke. He's doing the pills he got from the hospital. He's drinking. And Broderick, like a broken record, just says, hey, man, you want to die. That's a lot of stuff. I want to die happy. It's Mr. Crowder. You go clean the kitchen or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, well, Broderick, why don't you just leave? I mean, you were told to leave. And I mean, Wyatt makes you get back the keys, and he makes you go out to get more coke or whatever. So there's that. I mean, like I said, it wasn't bad, but I feel like this scene just dragged on way too long. And we go over to Conley. Well, actually, excuse me. Benny gets on the phone with Rihanna. They talk pretty much, because she's apologetic about the situation at the restaurant. And then he's like, hey, you shouldn't be drinking alone. And then she's like, look, don't be worried about me. I'm worried about you. You need to lay low. I don't think you should come over here. Benny wants the address. Candace is like, Benny, don't you go out. You don't listen to nobody. And this fool is like, they don't know me. he just underestimates the Malones heavily, and I'm like, bro, what the hell, man? Why are you underestimating them like they're scared of you? Sure, you beat the hell out of Sandy, but this episode set up a lot of death. Wyatt from possibly overdosing. I want to be completely honest here. I was like, Lord, is Wyatt going to kill Broderick? Because he's getting higher and higher, and he's being annoyed by Broderick of all people. Then on top of that, you got Benny, who's just a dead man walking, and we go over to Veronica, who after the beginning of the episode, she goes to the gay bar, and I knew that's where pink unicorns would be brought up. She pretty much, look, I was thinking to myself, first of all, Veronica's going to burn this place to the ground, but then my second thought is, so you have this loud, obnoxious black woman who's homophobic go into a gay club and go off. Let's be completely honest here. Veronica would have got shit stomped. I mean, especially in today's climate of just saying or tweeting anything, even remotely anti-LGBTQ+. I'm surprised nobody whooped her ass. The way she was just, going on about that thing over there, this thing over here. I'm not drinking out of these glasses. Give me a plastic cup. No, give me a bottle. I'm surprised no one went after her. Just going to be real here. So she goes up to William, and this is what made the scene semi-disappointing. I got something to tell you. You know what? I want to drink. You know what? I want to dance. And then she doesn't say shit. So this was just yet another scene where I thought there was going to be some build-up to it. I mean, there was build-up, but what exactly did Veronica have to say? We only got 3 episodes left. I mean, William apologized for never saying that he was gay, so I'm like, does he know that he's Jeffrey's father? I mean, I think Veronica told David in the episode A New Leaf, right? Or was it 15 minutes, that whichever episode where she told David about him not being Jeffrey's father, and cheating on him with William. And it's like, when she found out she was pregnant, I was going to leave you, but then I found out he was gay, and then he went to some sort of monastery in Utah or Montana. And I mean, I thought that pretty much quote unquote straightened him out, but apparently he's still gay, and that's why he owns this gay club. So I was kind of like, what? Continuity? Whatever. I guess people can change, but that's what made the scene whatever. But when this woman, don't let me outwalk you, girl, when Veronica is dancing, that's what made the scene worth sitting through. But overall, I'm like, what? So what was the point? But either way, it was just a scene in itself that only the Ice Queen could pull off. Okay, we only got a couple more things to talk about here. So Conley tells Candace, after Benny has left, Conley comes in, just a few minutes of your time. At the gist of it, hey, he loves you. He had to do what he had to do because of politics, but at the end of the day, you awaken him. It's not public knowledge, but Charles's wife committed suicide. It wasn't cancer. And he leaves. And I'm like, oh, wait, so is he lying? Is he telling the truth? I don't know. But then we go over to the last thing to talk about, and that's Vinny's interactions with Mitch and Sandy. I'll talk about Sandy first because it's more to the point. Sandy comes in, ice pack on his head. I want to kill that Benny kid. And then Vinny's like, you come in here looking like that. It's like, well, yeah, you should have seen what I did to him. Yeah, that's what they always say. See what I did to the other guy. I know what happened. How? Word gets around. I'd kill you for coming in here like that or allowing him to do that to you. I'd shoot you for allowing him to do that to you like that. But basically saying, I'm going to kill him. Well, yeah, Mama Rose talked to me and she's upset. Basically, Sandy needs to prove himself or he's dead meat. So essentially, Vinny gives him a gun. What, you need help? No, I'll kill him myself. Well, don't come back here until you do. But then before that, Mitch is called in. He talks with Vinny. They go back to the office and Vinny's not pleased. Apparently, Mitch knew nothing about the relationship between the Criers and the Malones and everything Jim and David has done for the Malone family. Me, your uncle, your mom, Mama Rose, and Mitch needs to be punished as a result. And it's made clear that, hey, you said this about us protecting the Young family, and Candace is taking all this money from the Jim. They're good people. And I'm thinking, thank God somebody said that. not the fact that, oh, they're good people, but they're rightfully calling out that good people who stole millions of dollars. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. That's what I've been saying for years, aka seasons. I mean, somebody needs to tell this to Hannah. It's like, oh yeah, you want to protect your kids and everything, but they have taken millions of dollars and you just sit around like there aren't going to be repercussions, or you try to stand in the way of the repercussions. So basically there's no protection. The Young family, they're on their own. They're your friends or whatever, but they're on their own. They need to be punished. So Sal Malone, rest his soul, big Cap in real life, passed last year, due to suicide. So it was kind of emotional seeing him, but I do believe the Malones will come after the Young family, but that'll be something I'll talk about in another episode. But essentially, Mitch is brought to the back where Sal pretty much beats him and two guys hold him, and he's like, not the face, he's going to want the face. Oh damn. So Mitch gets his ass whooped protecting his friends, and it's like, I feel bad for Mitch. He don't deserve that. I mean, but at the same time, he lied to the family. So that's essentially the episode in a nutshell. I mean, this review isn't super long because I feel like anytime it felt like the story was going to take things to another level, we just cut and then went to another scene or something along those lines. So if there was anything I missed in the episode review, let me know. But for the most part, I feel like I talked about everything that happened. So 6 out of 10, it was alright. It's just like, it's disappointing that we only got 3 episodes left, so to have mediocre stuff like this is kind of weird. But the preview for next week, woo! Wait till you see my breakdown of that. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the episode in the comment section below. And if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.